guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Infinity Doubles gameplay. The score in the background is a 20-0. Pretty proud of this gameplay, especially as it's on Pitfall. I actually managed to pull off a couple fairly nice snipes and a pretty decent no-scope. It's very rare that I snipe consistently under pressure, as I'm sure you guys are aware. So I hope you guys enjoy watching that in the background. I had a topic that I wish to discuss with you guys today, and it's regarding the latest bulletin. And for me, the bulletins have been a little bit of a letdown as of recently. As you guys are probably aware, I used to actually cover the bulletins on a regular basis on my channel, and that's because I was quite passionate about them at the time. I was quite excited for them, and recently that started to change. They just weren't really meeting my playstyle, what I was looking for. I have an idea in mind of what my favourite playlists are, and other people have a different idea in their minds. And, you know, I can't really complain about some of the recent ones, like BTB SWAT, you know. BTB SWAT is my idea of hell on earth. It's awful to me. I hate it. I hate the maps Ragnarok, Exile, etc. But at the same time, Big Team is one of the most popular, Big Team is the most popular playlist, and SWAT is one of the most popular playlists. So I can't really complain when they do something like that. They're just catering to the community, and if that's what the community wants, you know, it's just supply and demand, and I can't really get involved at that point. So I didn't just want to make commentaries of me just saying, oh, this is coming up, and I don't like it. Oh, this is coming up, because it's just unproductively negative. And unless you have something positive to supplement your criticisms, there's not really much point in having videos that are just needlessly centered around negativity. You might as well play another game. That's just my opinion on the matter. However, with the latest bulletin, it just kind of caught my eye because, right, I understand that maybe they're not able to make too many changes at the moment as they're working on Halo 5. They seem to have backpedaled a little bit, and that totally, you know, makes sense to me. However, they've just put out a vote recently for the playlists that could be added into Team Doubles, and these playlists include Neutral Flag, Oddball, and King of the Hill. Obviously, I'm actually quite excited for the idea of Team Doubles King of the Hill. I think that could be cool. The rest, not so sure. Oddball isn't something that is going to make anyone play a new playlist. Well, I could say the same about King of the Hill and Oddball as well. You know, King of the Hill and Oddball, when those playlists get introduced as separate playlists, they ended up having to be taken off the roster because no one played them. And that's definitely not a good thing. And then Neutral Flag, for me, kind of ruined the CTF playlist. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in this topic, because I think there's bigger fish to fry than the doubles. And, you know, like I said, they might not have the manpower to do something drastic, but something like fixing CTF so it's not just a shadow of its former self. In my opinion, CTF is a pretty terrible playlist right now. And that is due to the inclusion of Neutral Flag and doing very little to balance it, and the lack of inclusion of small maps. Okay, the only small maps that come to mind for CTF for me are, let me think, Dispatch and Simplex. You could also throw in Adrift, but I'd argue that's a medium to big. It's relatively big, I would say. And then they got rid of Abandon because the spawns were top heavy and not very good at all. Those are the only three maps you get. And the difference is, because Neutral Flag only appears on, you know, Exile, Ragnarok, Settler, and the DLC maps, we all know that the DLC maps don't come up at all. The DLC maps would have been the perfect solution to that problem, as you would have seen maps like Skyline getting played on Neutral Flag, Monolith, which are great small to medium-sized maps. Instead, we do not see that happen, and that's a problem they should have, you know, seen coming. It was kind of obvious that the people weren't going to play the DLC, and B, resolved at this point. You know, I don't mind the occasional Ragnarok and Exile game. Well, I do hate Ragnarok, but that's more personal preference more than anything. I know a lot of people do like Ragnarok, seeing as many people vote it. But, you know, I don't mind playing the occasional Exile game. I don't mind playing the occasional Settler. But the fact that there's no choice and variety in the playlist options, especially as BTB SWAT, Big Team Battle, and game types on a more casual, you know, big team friendly basis seem to dominate matchmaking as it is, it's kind of depressing that one of the playlists we see that I used to cherish. It used to be my favorite playlist, and I just, as a player, am not being catered to. And I wouldn't say I was the most competitive player in the world, not by any stretch of the imagination. There's far better players out than me, but I'm kind of a hybrid between casual and competitive, and I do like the occasional arena style, you know, small based map where it's close quarters in your face all the time. And I just feel like I'm missing that right now. You know, in terms of map playlists that I can play, it's kind of Ricochet, and then Ricochet is now being plagued by Shotgun Ricochet, which I'm also not a big fan of. Shotgun Ricochet should be in Action Sack. I'm sure most of you guys are aware. It's a very casual-friendly playlist, and I understand that Halo 4 has become sort of a casual game, so maybe that's just the direction we're going in, but I want to see these things change sooner rather than later, or just resolved in Halo 5. Anyway, I've been Modest Major. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.